Hey guys, this is Tim Powell from the Minerals and Royalties Authority. I recently sat down with Gabe Gonzalez, owner of Kinetik Resources. Here are a few short clips from our conversation so you can hear some of the things that Gabe had to say.
When you come across a reservation in southwestern PA and West Virginia, depending on when that happens, if a lot of those folks don't know they have those reservations, or those oil and gas rights, depending on when that was made, you're in for an airship project that could span, 150 years. Then you're going through, you're pulling wills, you're doing genealogy, you're kind of just almost flying blind sometimes. And you just have to get creative about how you're going about finding that information. And that's where I think southwestern PA, being Greene County, Washington, and you get into West Virginia, that's kind of where the difficulty really starts to begin. I guess the one thing you do have to worry about would be intestate deaths. Somebody that passes without a will or a line of succession that's set in place. Each county or each state, has different intestate laws as to how that interest gets divided up amongst their, the remaining heirs. For instance, in Pennsylvania, it goes through probably, 3 or 4 different changes. I think you have prior to 1917, I think there's a change in 1947, then I think another one in 76, and then finally in 1993. There's so many different things going on. If there are children involved, how many children are involved? If there aren't any children or there's not a living spouse, then it goes back up to, first it goes up. If the parents are alive, then it goes back to the parents. If the parents are not alive, then it goes to siblings. If there aren't any siblings, then you're getting into, that person's like uncles or the parents, like siblings, things like that. So a lot of intricacies, kind of interesting. You run into an airship, you're spending, potentially $10,000, $15,000 in title, that starts to add up. I think that's really the problem, is just the expenditure. It's worth it, if you can track down all those folks, but at the end of the day, it just comes down to cost. I think down there in West Virginia, more, I guess, time and money.
If you enjoyed some of Gabe's comments, then I encourage you to tune in to the full episode on the Minerals and Royalties podcast. Thanks, and see you next time.